I don't really like how we dress up a lack of communication as low maintenance friendships. And again, this is not a shot at anybody that likes a low maintenance friendship. I'm not one of them, but good for you.
I'm glad I don't got like no high maintenance ass friends. Friends that just don't believe in like space.
Low maintenance friends make life so much easier. Like, listen, I'm not trying to be texting, talking, FaceTiming, Snapchat, and all the other shit all fucking day, every day.
The things I looked for in a friend in middle school cannot be the things that I look for in a friend at 21 years old.
Y'all just want an excuse to be a bad friend. I think I'm okay with that title at this point because the stuff that y'all require in these friendships is getting a little too crazy.
I don't even have my schedule yet for next week.
You don't have time to see me until next week.
Are they really your friend? How about we settle this debate about low versus high maintenance friendships by asking ourselves a few important questions. What are they? Who are they? When are these labels actually worth applying? What type of friend are you? And when is having a friend who's one or the other actually a red flag worth paying attention to? What's up, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melinda, and if you're new here and this is your first time seeing my face, you know what to do. I'ma just wait a little bit. But if you didn't catch the memo, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. Obviously, you guys know what we're here for now. I really want to get into this whole ancient yet very relevant debate about low versus high maintenance friendships. Every few months, I'll see so many think pieces about this on social media, especially TikTok. And I thought it was about time I kind of shed my own little 2 cents and bring it to the table. I just think so many people are really overcomplicating it. I also think there's so many unnecessary extreme stigmas around a low maintenance friend and around a high maintenance friend. And I just figured it was worth unpacking that and kind of showing y'all that it really isn't that deep. So I hope by the end of this video, I've managed to remind you that you really have free will. You have the freedom to decide who you want in your inner circle. You can, rightfully so, pick and choose. Be as picky as you need. If someone has not met your expectations and standards for the friendship that you desire, you do not have to hold on to them. So with that being said, let me know in the comments down below if you disagree or agree with any of my takes, and let's get started with this video. All right, so the first thing we really need to figure out is what are the definitions of a low maintenance versus a high maintenance friend. So I did myself the favor of going on ChatGPT and asking for a very straightforward definition. All right, so this is ChatGPT's definition of what a low maintenance friend is. A low maintenance friend is someone who doesn't require constant communication, reassurance, or effort to maintain the friendship. The connection is easygoing and both people can go long periods without talking, but still pick up where they left off without issues. These friendships are often flexible, understanding, and not demanding in terms of emotional needs or time. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. A high maintenance friend, on the other hand, requires more frequent interaction, attention, and emotional support to feel secure in the friendship. They might expect regular check-ins, consistent plans, and more reassurance. These friendships can feel more intense or demanding as they often need more effort to maintain the connection and meet emotional expectations. Now, do I necessarily disagree with any of that? No, I really don't. I'm just being honest. But oddly enough, whenever someone tries to explain really just the basic definition of what these two dynamics are, everyone seems to have an issue with it. And this is really where the stigmas come in, because a lot of people will assume that a low maintenance friendship is just for
lazy people who really don't care about their friends like that, prioritize everything else in the world over their friends, and never have a thought about their friends and nothing like that.
And they couldn't be more wrong. And on the other hand, people assume that high maintenance friendships are like pretty much living in a chokehold. These people will literally never give you a second to breathe and be on your own timing. And this is where we kind of need to bring it back down a little bit, really sit with ourselves and really ask ourselves, would anyone really accept either or? I don't think so. I really hope not. Now, personally, I thought I would also share with you guys my little personal bias. I would see myself more as a low maintenance friend. I don't really think I need to be constantly ringing someone's phone, texting them 24/7 throughout the day to know that my friendship with them is secure. I've also experienced a more high maintenance friendship dynamic, and I realized quickly that it wasn't for me. And what I'm about to say does not mean that every high maintenance friendship actually acts like this, but this is really just purely off of my experience. The main thing for me that really called it out was that I really wasn't making much time for myself anymore, and I felt like if I were to say no to specific plans, I really had to come up with some elaborate reason as to why I would not be able to go out. And that would stress me out so much because it felt like I couldn't just simply say that I was tired or I just didn't want to come out. And I felt like simple things as just wanting to stay home and chill and be on my own timing was not validated, and that really stressed me out because
what do you mean I can't spend time by myself? What do you mean I can't just stay at home?
Why do I have to be outside 7 days a week? It is not in my DNA to be outside 7 days a week. And I really started to think about it, and I was really sad that I was losing interest in my hobbies, or I just wasn't making time for them. And I wanted to do so many things, but I literally could not, or I just felt guilty for not wanting to do certain things or just not wanting to be there all the time. And that kind of made me feel like the dynamic was really demanding, and I realized that it just wasn't for me. And that's one of the main benefits, I think, with a low maintenance friendship. You really do have a lot more flexibility. Just because some time may go by where you are not seeing this person or having a lengthy conversation with them, it really does not mean that you guys don't care for each other or you guys don't think about each other.
I personally don't talk to my friends every day. Life comes up, work comes up, responsibilities come up, and it's the same for them, so it's understood. The things I looked for in a friend in middle school cannot be the things that I look for in a friend at 21 years old. We cannot always sit and talk on the phone all day and all night. We should have work in the morning.
One thing I absolutely hate is that everyone assumes that in a low maintenance friendship is that we don't check up on one another. Hello? Guys, and this is where I need a lot of people to put their thinking caps on and differentiate between a friend and an acquaintance. An acquaintance, by definition, is a person one knows slightly but is not a close friend. If you need a picture of what an actual acquaintance is, that can be someone that you met at school, talked to maybe once or twice in class, maybe exchanged notes with. You guys may walk past each other every so often in the hallway, stop and ask each other how your day is going, how the test was last week, a little kiki, a little laugh here and there, and then you guys keep pushing. You really just won't think about this person like that at all. Let's be real. Someone that you met at your job that you were scheduled with a couple times in the week, one day you run into them and you guys are still only talking about that one job that you guys had together. That's it. Nothing beyond that. That to me is pretty much what an acquaintance is. And obviously we know what a friend is. We don't need to go into the definition of what a friend is, but just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna insert the definition anyways. A friend is a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. Keyword, bond. We all know what a friend is. We all know what an acquaintance is. So this is why I need a lot of you to stop deeping it so much. Whenever someone on the internet has an issue with someone labeling themselves as a low maintenance friend or saying that they want only low maintenance friendships, everyone wants to go and dish dirt and say that the person's lazy and that they don't care about their friends, that they never check up on them. That's clearly not the case, because at the end of the day, you know who your friends are. You're gonna care about them. It's like this natural instinct. You are never not going to think about that person. It's pretty much
Impossible.
So before you go around saying this and that about low maintenance friendships, let's keep in mind that these people have actual friends and it is not a relationship based on acquaintances. One of the main questions that you really need to ask yourself when it comes to this conversation is, what type of friend are you? Because like I said, you need to know yourself. It's so important to figure out who you are in any type of relationship dynamic, romantic, friendship. That way it is a lot easier for you to establish your standards, your expectations, and also set your boundaries. And a lot of the time, they really just come naturally. It's not necessarily something that you have to keep with you like a giant checklist, and if they don't meet one little expectation, you throw them out to the curb. But it just means you're a little bit more aware of what you want, and it also means you're more attentive to people's actions and how they reciprocate. Like for example, if you've been friends with someone for a couple of years and every single year, without mistake, you acknowledge that it's their birthday. And in this example, I'm excluding love languages because everyone's different. You might do things very elaborately and they might do things a bit more calm and chill. But as long as both of you guys acknowledge each other's birthdays, that is really the baseline expectation and standard that you want in your friendship.
I also do think that adult friendships do require compassion and discernment. Some people are truly spread too thin and you got to meet them where they are. Other people just are really terrible friends because they don't actually care about you and they can't tell you happy birthday, you know? So I think knowing the difference is very valuable.
I think most people want that in their friendship, but you guys get the idea. That is a little example of healthy reciprocation that can obviously go a long way. So it's really important to understand that what you give is what you get, and that you and this person that you're friends with should at least just be on the same page. Please just be on the same page. That's why if you know yourself and you know you're a lot more high maintenance, and you're complaining about a friend who clearly is extremely more low maintenance, as long as you guys have open communication with one another and have talked about what your expectations are, if both of you are attentive to those things and actively trying to maintain that, y'all can cooperate. And being on the same page really just means talking about what your schedules are like, how busy you guys are, what do you guys prioritize in your life, and does your friend understand that things are important to you? If you can't stay on the phone for hours on end, do they understand that?
And I think it's just so important for you to make sure that you are giving like this communication, whether it's just like a small like, hey, I'm going through a lot, or hey, I'm not being distant, life is lifing. Like you really can't expect anybody to understand what you're going through if like you don't provide them with some type of clarity. And noted, like some people do just fall flat off the face of the earth, and it's no hard feelings, it's just they're going through a rough time. I think I do pride myself on being a very understanding friend, so when people do come back and they reach out and they explain all those things to me, I think I am very open to having that conversation.
Compromise is really what you guys need to make it work. Knowing whether someone who's low maintenance or high maintenance is actually a red flag is so important, because a lot of people I've noticed like to just attribute red flags everywhere here and there to someone who's high maintenance or low maintenance, but they're not really understanding when that's actually useful, like when that's actually needed. And that's because I think a lot of people are so hyper fixated on the extremities, really extreme scenarios in either dynamic, that literally nobody would sit down and accept. For example, an extremity in a high maintenance friendship is someone who makes you feel like you're literally suffocating. This person does not give you no space. You guys are currently in the middle of hanging out and already they're trying to plan the itinerary for the entire month with no consideration of your own life and your own time and things you have to get done.
When do you want to hang out?
What do you mean? You just got here. We are hanging out.
I know, I just want to get our next hangout on the books.
I don't even have my schedule yet for next week.
You don't have time to see me until next week?
It's Saturday. Next week is in one day.
That gives us a whole other day to hang out before next week starts.
But I can't hang out tomorrow.
Okay. Well, can we at least FaceTime pointlessly for a couple hours while not saying a word to each other and going on about our daily tasks?
Sure.
Yes. You never answered my Snap yesterday.
What do you mean? We were texting all day.
Yeah, but we were having a different conversation on Snap and you left me on red.
I just assumed that we had moved the conversation to text.
That's crazy to assume.
They'll feel extremely offended if you say no or if you put something above them. They really don't want to see you having other friends. They don't want to see you using your time in other ways. If you're free and you're literally just taking the time to relax, if you are not making that free time all about them, they're gonna have an issue with it.
Like, why are you home, sitting down, watching a movie?
Taking time to relax and be by yourself, and I'm not with you. That is a huge red flag, and you need to run and get out of there. That is not a healthy, sane friendship. A real friend will never need to be on your time that often. I do not care how much you love a high maintenance friendship. No one in their right mind needs to be consumed by another person this much. Like, if someone wants to be on your phone the entire day, I'm talking FaceTime calls, texting, phone calls, back to back, 24/7, every hour, every second of the day.
I'm talking about friends that want you to be on the phone with them all day, friends that want you to be in their skin all day, friends that just don't believe in like space. Me and my friends, we might talk every other month. We might talk once a week. We might talk. Sometimes we'll talk for 3 days in a row. But when we don't talk, it ain't like no pressure. It ain't like no, bitch, why we haven't talked? Like, we know what the fuck is up. Bitches get busy. You know, people have lives outside of their friends. You know, shit get real.
Gonna be texting, talking, FaceTiming, Snapchatting, all the other shit all fucking day, every day. We gonna link up here and there, check on each other here and there. Other than that, let's keep it fucking pushing. We grown.
That is an extreme situation to be aware of and to never let yourself get caught up in. Someone who's extremely needy and extremely clingy and basically treats your friendship like a toxic relationship.
Like, there was this one girl literally made a video saying you should treat your friendships the way that you treat your relationship with your man. I'm sorry, I only got one husband, and I'm not treating my friend like my husband.
Where they need to know where you're at 24/7. If you're not somewhere you said you were, it's a problem. And again, something as simple as if you say no and they just aren't having it because it makes them feel like for some reason you don't care about them, red flag, red flag, red flag. Please do not convince yourself that they're just a really passionate, caring friend, high maintenance, and they care about you so much. That is someone who does not know how to be alone and is gonna cause you extreme stress and anxiety. Please. And another extreme situation on the low maintenance side is that they're just gonna ghost you. If that friend literally just disappears, ghosts you completely, you don't hear of them ever. Once in a while, you can just feel that disconnect completely. You're not hearing of them ever again. You have no idea what they're up to. You can't even begin to assume what they're up to. They just completely wiped off the face of the earth. All you really got to do is sit back and pray that they're still okay, alive, running, and doing well. That's an extreme where, rightfully so, you may love your low maintenance dynamic, but that is still not a friend at the end of the day. No matter what, in a low maintenance friendship, you still have to show up for your people. They know no matter what that you always got their back. It's a real ride or die situation. The support is always there. And if you're not even getting that, you cannot give it that low maintenance title and say that,
oh, I'm just low maintenance, so I'm not even gonna ask you why you're crying.
I'm not even gonna support you with your endeavors. I'm not even gonna call you up once in a while because it's been a while and see what's up with you. That at the end of the day is not your friend. I love low maintenance friendships, but I still talk to the people in my life. So besides the extremes, the biggest red flag of all in either dynamic is realistically that this person is just not reciprocating anything. You have communicated, you have maybe even confronted them already about a situation, a problem that they're not meeting up to, and you're just getting disappointed and let down constantly. That is really just your cue to leave, to realize that this person does not care about you baseline, and it has nothing to do with whether they're low maintenance or high maintenance, because like I said, friends are different from acquaintances. A friend, no matter the dynamic, low or high, is still gonna value you and still treat you like a person. And I just want to make it very clear, I have nothing against high maintenance friendships. I think that if you guys can really make it work, if you guys have found a routine that works for the both of you, to have those consistent phone calls and consistent hangouts, and that is great, that is healthy. But it's also healthy and still great and still meaningful to have a more low maintenance friendship where it may not be so often, but you guys know what's up. And another thing I need to debunk immediately is people saying if they wanted to, they would. And they always mention this every single time someone talks about being a low maintenance friend. And I have such an issue with that because no, that's not necessarily true. It's such an irrelevant thing to say. I think the whole if they wanted to, they would really only applies to situations where you've already been so open about what you expect, loud and clear. If someone is not choosing to take those things into consideration and they really just pay no mind, don't care and shrug, and there's your answer. That's a really obvious example of someone who knows and doesn't do. But on the other hand, someone who is very aware of what is expected of them will make sure to maintain whatever that is and stay true to that. A comment that I also did see that I just felt like including, someone did say, I'm a high maintenance friend, so I can't have low maintenance friends because I feel like they don't care, but I get you. And this had 36.7 thousand likes, so a lot of people agreed. But I loved the comment underneath that one. The reply basically said, yes, both sides are valid, just find the right people for you. And I think that's pretty much the message that I want to conclude in this video. It's really all about just finding the people for you. The right people are out there. The right people will not make you question anything. As long as you surround yourself with people who are pretty similar, or if you guys just at least agree to compromise and collaborate, you will have some peace of mind and wish nothing but that for you. With all that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment down below if you agree or disagree. I want to hear your thoughts and your concerns. Stay tuned for more videos like this. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations on something to talk about. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.